I'm sorry to my community for voting the way I did. I acknowledged the mistake earlier, but it's different. When you acknowledge something, it's kind of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. When you say I'm sorry, it's more like, yeah, I fucked up. And I think I fucked up. Obviously, my one vote didn't make the difference, but it contributed. And I don't even know why I was like so bent out on the price of eggs, price of gas and shit. I have a fucking Tesla. I'm blessed enough to not know how much milk or eggs or none of that bullshit cost. I just go and buy it. My dumbass was joining the propaganda. Oh, look at all these people. They can't afford homes. Blah, blah, blah. I can go buy another fucking house. I fucked up royally. And so now, yes, at least I'm marching. I'm doing some research, spreading the word. But I truly wish that I was on the right side of history from the get-go. Not for selfish reasons, but because had I been, at least I would not have contributed to all these people that are being hurt in our community. I wouldn't have contributed to fucking U.S. citizens being arrested because God decided to use more melanin when he was creating them. I wouldn't have contributed, and I wish that was the case. But I fucked up, so I'm sorry. But you have my word that moving forward, I'm going to be on the right side of history.
This entire argument of like, why are Mexicans crying about deportations now when they're the ones that voted for him really frustrates me. And mostly because it fails to hold white people accountable for the fact that I think, 90% of white men voted for Trump and like 70 or 80 white women voted for him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't hold Latinos who voted for Trump accountable. My entire page is holding the Latinos, specifically Mexicans, accountable for voting against their own people. However, this whole idea that he won the election because of the Latino vote, I think is complete BS. Not only that, but it's like very dismissive to the undocumented community because do y'all not understand? Undocumented people can't vote. They couldn't vote. So when you say stuff like, well, why are you crying about it now? Like, you guys are the ones that voted for him. Like, no, they didn't. They can't vote. They're undocumented. So like laughing at their pain, at their suffering over something they had no control over is like such a lack of empathy, in my opinion.
So yeah, that was a Latino man straight up apologizing for his Trump vote. And then another Latina reminding us that it ain't just Latinos who voted for Trump. But here's the thing, both can be true. White voters are the reason Trump got this far, but that doesn't alas the fact that millions of Latinos backed the same man who came for their own community, own families. Today we are reacting to Latinos who voted for Trump. Some are finally waking up, some are still deep in denial, and some living in full-blown fantasy world. Before we jump in, real quick shout out to everyone showing love to this channel, to every subscriber, commenter, everyone who shared this video, and all the members that keep supporting these videos. Thank you so much. It means a lot, and it means so much encouraging to us. So now let's go into the video.
The key word here is illegal, right? We're Americans. Latinos are Americans. We're not illegal. We voted for who we think would represent our best interests. That would be Donald Trump. Latinos don't identify with Kamala Harris. You know, she's out there pandering and this and that. We're not with that. We're way past that. It just, you know, Donald Trump, he's a billionaire businessman, yet he's out there speaking like just the common folk. You know, one of the biggest reasons was obviously economical reasons. We voted because of our pockets.
I really feel like that we voted for President Trump because he really does stand for certain culture identities of outside of like just the color of our race, but also our morals, our values. And I really feel like that President Trump was the best selection for us to vote for, and that's why we actually voted for him.
Let's support Trump. He's a real criminal. 32 convictions.
I mean,
he's saying he's 34.
Kamala Harris is dumber than a box of rocks. She didn't have no policy. She didn't even have a plan. She didn't have anything.
And you clearly haven't sat for a bar, because if you sat for a bar,
just because you have a title doesn't mean that you're smart.
I
know people who go to Harvard University.
Guys,
let me be clear. I went to high school. I graduated from college. 4 years of that.
Your
I went to
title
law
doesn't
school.
make you anything.
I didn't say
Your title doesn't
but
make
you know what?
smart.
The people elected
and just
me.
Because you're
The people elected me, and I am the state representative for House District 147.
Well,
but it's just like women to put women down and to call them dumb. So what is she? I mean, she ain't got no degree. Is she dumb?
I have a degree. I do have a marketing degree, by the way.
Well,
and I'm not
you
done.
don't
And I do
too.
know that there's no
Because what does your
policy. If
degree
you can
mean?
write a
But anyway,
policy,
the
come up
point
with a
is,
policy.
self-hate
Make a
is
plan.
real.
I love myself, and I'm Mexican
real,
American,
and I
I'm
pray
proud of
for
it, and I'm
Latinos
so
in
proud
this
to be
country
here for
because they're going to get
representing
deported,
one time.
and their families.
We needed policy. We needed a plan. All she ever talked about was LGBTQ and abortion rights.
Now these days you have illegal immigrants coming over, getting free Visa cards, free cell phones, free vouchers for this and that, free food. What sense does that make? It makes no sense at all to where my parents and grandparents came over here, had to literally bust their butt. I don't live in that snowflake mentality of victim, I'm a victimhood. We're past that.
There's
No, we are past that. We're way
There's-
past that. There's a big fight that's going to happen, and it's going to be to keep people here who are supposed to be here. If you're illegal and you're doing things that are against the law, you better be afraid. But people like myself, people like Cesar, we are going to help fight and make sure that the right people stay here, DACA stays here. It's still a fight for us, for our people.
Is that contradictory to the way you voted, though?
It's not contradictory because it's just his opinion. What he wants, what he feels is right, is not always right. Just because you have a title doesn't make you smart. Just because you went to a certain school doesn't mean that you come from the best background. There's just people who just think a certain way, and there's people like us that have to show you that's not always the right way.
DACA should be here, but it's going to be gone, right? It's going to be gone. And I think that it's going to be really
We don't
bad
know
for
that.
Latinos.
We don't know that
Oh,
for
yes,
sure.
We do.
We don't.
Oh, yes,
We don't know
We can
for
thank
sure.
Obama for that, for leaving all those documents.
Obama was the number one to
Prayers and
deport
prayers with
people,
Trump.
Let's
and
hear
it wasn't
from
even
George
Trump.
really quick. Go ahead, George.
You know what?
Trump thinks that Hispanics and Puerto Ricans are trash.
No, that wasn't him who said that. That
Yeah,
was
it
one of
was.
his representatives.
No,
Nope, go back and watch that.
exactly.
But it wasn't
And if
him,
my
and it doesn't
staffer
even
says
matter.
something-
So
if
somebody
my
else said
staffer
it, but
says
it wasn't
something,
him.
And he's my staffer, and
Well,
he says something offensive to somebody
it
else.
wasn't
That's
him.
not going to be my staffer.
Not every-
Okay,
Let
all
me
right,
just
George, go ahead.
let me just say this. Look, Latinos are naturally conservative. Whether you like it or not, it's very true. Naturally conservative. We value family values, religion. That's what we value. You know.
I think that's about everybody,
That's
George.
everybody. That's us too. That's us too.
Well, that aligns more with the Republican side of
And
things, right?
Democrats.
No, they're just
The
Democrats haven't done anything in the past 4 years.
So
Let's talk economy.
let me finish with
Okay,
this. Let
all
me
right.
finish with this. You know,
Yeah.
I believe it was in 1982. Ronald Reagan said that Latinos are conservative; they just don't know yet. Well, now it's 2024, and they know it. We know it. The world knows it. America knows it.
You know, we talk a lot about economics, voting for the economy. Wait till you start mass deporting people. And people start leaving.
That already started
into different
with the
places.
Obama.
And
It started
people
with the
started
Obama.
leaving like places
It
like
has
they did
already
in Florida.
started, and it
And a
started.
burger start costing $52, $26, whatever. An iPhone's going to cost $300 more. There's a lot of things that are coming. And then people are going to say, oh, we messed up.
And
We
it
don't want to be in the
was
field
happening
thinking
during the
people.
past
People too.
4 years.
But it's
until
funny,
the election right
but
now.
it's really funny
And it was all with
that
the
Ronald
Democrats
Reagan talked
in
about
the
trickle-down
House.
economics, and economics didn't trickle down. So he's like the great white hope for people that want to be super white.
The
And I'm
economics
telling
didn't
you
even
that it
make
does
sense
not trickle
whenever
down
Biden
to
was
the
in the
people that are
administration.
on
Everything
welfare.
went up.
And let me be clear.
Everything
if
went
you
up.
are fortunate enough to not be deported, we ain't going to have no public school system. How your kids going to get educated?
All right.
The American Academy, that's going to be online, and that's where people are going to be able to get a free education.
Not everybody
And
has
so,
internet.
you know what?
Not
We
every
need to
home.
really know where this money is going, because some of this money is going to places that it shouldn't be going, into pockets that it shouldn't be going. So, you know what? We do need a department of efficiency, and I'm glad that that is being set.
I mean,
With
And
Elon,
we're-
the
it was
billionaire
filed by
boss.
Musk.
So let me get this straight. They voted for the guy who literally labeled their community, their families as criminals, as drug dealers on day one. And they're calling that a self-interest? Really? That's a self-interest? That ain't conservative values. That's internalized nonsense. And what's wild is that some Latinos actually think cosplaying as the Republicans will earn them safety. That if they yell loud enough about the borders or say the word socialism with enough disgust, they will get a MAGA membership card. But the reality, Trump didn't put policies in the place to protect Latino conservatives. He put policies in place to target all Latinos. Immigration raids don't check your voter ID. The IC van doesn't care if you voted right. And this idea that Latinos are naturally conservatives, okay, that's okay. But even if that's true, doesn't mean they need to vote for someone who openly disrespects them. You can be pro-family, pro-faith, pro-hard work, and still reject bigotry, right? At some point, it's not about values. It's about validation, and a lot of these folks are still chasing acceptance from a party that never accepted them in the first place. Let's keep going.
So, dude, as I keep thinking about this, I'm like, someone needs to check on these Latinos that voted for Trump, okay? Because, listen, they were very hush-hush about their vote, okay? And I'm like, why would you be hush-hush about your vote if, like, I guess, did you feel some type of pressure that if you voted for this guy, that you were going to look stupid if he did something stupid? And so you kind of low-key already kind of unconsciously knew that. But, like, where are you now? Where are you now? Listen. He passed what you wanted. The big, beautiful bill is out. You're going to get benefits, I'm assuming, right? So I think this is the time where you're proud of your vote, right? But, like, why aren't you? Concentration camps are built super fast, more than usual. Faster than helping a unhoused community and veteran. But, so it's like, yeah, come out and be proud, you know? But why aren't you? Okay, somebody check on them.
Do you know how much of a lame ass you have to be Hispanic and still be defending Donald Trump? Listen, one thing is to have voted for him and accepting the fact that he's fucking up. But if you're still actively defending him after Alligator Alcatraz, the kidnappings, the people dying in the detention centers, that's just your ego talking. With the ego like that, you cannot hate yourself anymore. Because at the end of the day, you see your parents in those people. You see your grandparents in those people. And get this, no matter how much you keep dick riding that community, they will never accept you and you will never be one of them. Because you're still employed, meaning you're not rich. The last 2 to 3 generations in your family barely became legal and you get no bitches. Doing all of this con el pinche nopal en la frente. Oh my God, so embarrassing. I almost feel bad for you.
She nailed it. It's not about Trump anymore. It's about ego. The facts are out there. The policies have played out. People got deported. Kids got locked up. Rights were stripped away. And still, some of these folks are doubling down like it's a football team they gotta stay loyal to. But this ain't a game. Families are getting torn apart while some people are out here still trying to win arguments on Facebook about what Trump really meant. And the truth is, changing your mind after you have been wrong, that's strength, that's growth. But for some, they would rather burn with their mistakes than admit they made one. That's what ego does. And like she said, if you're still defending Trump after everything, after Alcatraz, after kidnappings, after ICE raids and broken promises, you're not defending a man. You're defending your pride. The community is waking up. The question is, will the ones still defending him do it before it's too late? Let's go to the next one.
So me, not being a doctor or a psychologist, but I use critical thinking. So I've been thinking on my Latino for Trump people, trying to understand what's their logic or talking points. Because I on Facebook, I get into it, but I notice they all post the same shit. They always put LOL, ha ha ha, or look what this guy said, or things like that. So they don't have a talking point, because what I figured out is that they live in this conspiracy world. This started back when they were all into YouTube videos of conspiracies. A lot of them fell into this, and they believe that the deep state is after them, or they're fighting the deep state. So Latinos for Trump feel really important, like in a higher branch, but only within the raza, because they're not going to get on Facebook and argue with a white person. Say they get into it with a white person, and that white person is fighting for immigrants. They will not get into that fight, because a white person will probably call them out and say, hey, you're a traitor to your own people, blah, 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 you know, like that. So they're there to fight against Latinos like me that will not bend the knee to drink orange juice. So that's their fight. And I can say Latinos for Trump this, Latinos for Trump that, as in jokes. But they never said, hey, why you say that? You know, we're Latinos. They're always only when it offends Trump, they will fight. And they will fight. And they'll put it out there on Facebook, yeah, I voted for Trump. So they do have this psychological thing going on in their head where they feel proud. No, really, because they're living in this psychological world that they feel important in. And they have the answer to fight the deep state because MAGA or Trump or somebody, they feel that there's a communication between them and Trump. Because you know why? I know them. They're in my family. I know there's someone in my family that believes that Trump sends their emails at night. You know, the email, send me money, shit, Republican. And she does. She supports it all. And I have a tia too. I have other people. So they live in this psychological world of a broken record that goes just of the same thing. So I'm just trying to figure out what would be their talking points behind closed doors. It's crazy because they make friends with other Latinos for Trump. You know, they see somebody on Facebook, they'll add, hey, you too? Yeah, me too. You know, okay, the deep state, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, the Hunter, whatever. What is it? The like the laptop. No, it's sickening. I know, man. I know where people moved their families out of California and came back secretly because it started eating them up when they yanked their kids out of schools and moved them to another state. But yeah, they're out there and they're fighting the fight for them. They're fighting, even though the man just said it's all bullshit.
So what did we just see? A man owning his mistake, a woman calling out the double standard around who gets blamed for Trump, then others still cringing to the same tired excuses about values and self-interest. Like that explains away betrayal. And then the real kicker, the conspiracy logic, the Latino for Trump crowd still living in this alternate universe where nothing bad is ever his fault. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This is what happens when identity takes a backseat to proximity to whiteness. Some thought aligning with MAGA would make them immune, but Trump's policy don't care about your language, your military record, your church attendances, your hard work. If you're not white and loyal, you are disposable. And now the consequences are hitting home. Now the families are being torn apart and communities are scared. Some want to say, oops, we didn't know. But the signs were never hidden. He told everyone exactly what he was gonna do. To the ones waking up, good. It's not too late to speak out. But to the ones still defending it, that's not self-respect. That's a self-destruction. And if you think voting for your oppressor will somehow save you from oppression, you're already lost. If this video made you think, challenged what you believed, or just confirmed what you've been saying all along, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the reminder. You can't vote your way into acceptance when you are not even seen as a human by the people you are voting for. Thanks again for watching out. Appreciate all the support. Catch you to the next one. See you. Love you. Wish you peace and love. Bye-bye.